M. Hamel did not at all scold Franz for not being able to say the rules of participles. Instead, he tried to explain the faults of everyone in Alsace. He said that only Franz or only the students were not to be blamed. Yes, it's true that they used to neglect their studies till then, but at the same time their parents also preferred to send them to work on the farms or at the mills to earn a little more money rather than sending them to school. And the teacher blamed himself also, saying that he also neglected his duties sometimes, because sometimes during the school hour he used to engage his students in watering the flowers in his garden, or whenever he felt like going for fishing, he gave them a holiday. So according to him, everyone in Alsace were to be blamed for all these. That day in the class, many things happened. The teacher spoke about the beauty of the French language. According to him, it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest and the most logical one. And he also advised them to preserve or guard this language among themselves, because he believed that when people are enslaved, because they were enslaved now, when people are enslaved, if they hold fast to, if they stick to, if they preserve their mother tongue, it is as if having their key to their prison. It would be very good for the existence of their race. So it was all about what he said regarding the French language. After that, they had a lesson in grammar, and teacher started explaining. Franz was amazed to see that that day he could understand everything so easily. He knew that it was all because that day he was very much attentive in the class, and the teacher also tried to explain things so nicely with so much patience, as if he wanted to give all his knowledge to the students in one single class. Okay, after the grammar class, they had a lesson in writing. That day, they were given to write France, Alsace, France, Alsace. Everyone in the class started doing their work very quietly, very attentively. There was a patriotic fervor inside the classroom, and they didn't pay attention to any petty things. And Franz was also doing his work. Whenever he looked up to see what was M. Hamel doing, he found that the teacher, he was sitting motionlessly in his chair. His eyes were fixed at one thing and then at another inside the classroom, as if he wanted to fix the picture of that classroom in his heart. M. Hamel looked very sad, because it was really a big thing, a difficult thing for him, because he had been serving in that school for 40 long years, and in the same school, in the same environment, nothing has changed. Only the trees outside grew taller, only the desks and benches have worn smooth. So now, when he could hear his sister packing their things because they were leaving the next day, it was really heartbreaking for him. After the writing class, they had a lesson in history, and then their reading class. Even old Hauser started reading with the babies. He had his primer in his book. His voice was shaking with emotions. The way he tried to say the words, the way he tried to read, okay, it was so funny to hear. Everyone wanted to laugh, but at the same time everyone wanted to cry also, because they could feel the pain, because they were all pained, it being the last class of their language, the French language. Now, suddenly, the church clock struck 12. And then the prayer bells also rang. They could also hear the trumpets of the Prussian soldiers coming back from their drill. Those were signals that their class was coming to an end now. M. Himmel stood up. He looked very pale. He turned to the blackboard, took the chalk, and wrote as largely as he could, Viva la France, that means long live France. He tried to say something, but something was choking him. He couldn't utter a single word. Actually, he wanted to say, the class is dismissed, you can go, but he couldn't say so. He was so emotional, he was so sentimental at that moment. Therefore, at last he had to lean his head against a wall, and with a gesture of his hand, he said, or he meant, the class is dismissed, you may go. So that's how the story ended. It is indeed a really very beautiful story. You will be able to enjoy it more if you can relate yourself to the story, to the situation. And I don't think you will find much difficulty in understanding. Just go through your dictionary for the word meanings and all. And in my next class, I wish to clear some doubts. I wish to point out some important things to you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for today.